I was shaking.
Katie,
I was
that's
so upset.
horrible.
Yeah, so fuck them too. Who's next, Brandy?
Life as a mom, entrepreneur, wife, friend, and human is a lot. Join me, Katie Jacobs.
And me, Brandy Chandler, every Thursday as we have unfiltered, hilarious, and relatable conversations about the ups, the downs, and the chaos of it all.
Pour a glass and pull up a seat.
Because you're always welcome at our table. Hello, Katie.
Hey, Brandy.
Welcome to She Did Mean Girl.
Ooh,
You feeling mean today?
feeling spicy today.
You know what? I don't have the energy to be mean.
No.
Where
not
are these
today.
people getting this extra energy?
I had a little spicy moment this morning.
To who?
The thing I was showing you before we got on here.
That
wasn't very nice.
Oh, well, that has a lot of history behind it.
It does.
You weren't being mean for like random.
No, that's true.
We were just staying in the loop.
There's a history of... Wow, talk about a mean girl. Woo! She makes me look like Pollyanna.
We both have some firsthand experience with a very mean girl.
And you know what? We didn't even put that in our notes.
No, but
And
it's
when we started this podcast, we started talking about things, and this person came up and we started sharing stories. And wow, what a mean girl. But she acts alone.
yeah, we don't
People are going to be
engage.
like, name them. Name them.
Some people will know automatically. Some people will be like, yep, I remember that.
It's what? So let's define the mean girl. Who is she?
Okay, so I looked some of this up because, sometimes my definition, the world's definitions aren't the same. So I had to check myself. And it's really a behavior. So it's relational aggression. Yes. Alternative aggression. Yes. Indirect but harmful social bullying. And it said, unlike physical harm, those who engage in relationship aggression want to make a person look bad to others, to bring them down or take away what the other person has. Yes. And then somewhere else, I came up with these words. It's exclusion, backstabbing, manipulation. Yes, yes, yes.
I think it's also like trying to make someone look bad to make yourself feel better. Don't you?
Yeah,
There's a lot of that.
yeah. It's definitely a bring other people down situation, whatever the motive.
I like this that you wrote. You wrote judgy, gossipy, opportunistic, mean girls.
Yeah.
And how they're disguised. And I think there are two types. I think there's like this sort of groupthink mentality around mean girls, because that's a lot of what we kind of listed, these like mom friend cliques, sports, PTO kind of stuff. But then there's like the individual mean girls that I think are more lone wolves.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. And like normally the groups of people, they're disguised by doing good, even though
It's so true.
they're doing harm.
And I think in those groups, I have found that individually, many of the members of the group I actually really like and connect with. But there's just a
Yeah.
couple ringleader mean girls that kind of have some sort of power within that group, whether they're the president of something or they lead the something, or, their husband is the head coach, whatever it is. And I'm not like, I'm just like thinking it, like there's, I think, some kind of power tie-in. Like I can think of specifically the ringleader of the mean girl and bringing people in who maybe aren't necessarily mean girls, but get pulled into that stratosphere of power. And well, if I'm part of this person's orbit, then I'm not on the outside. It's sort of that cheerleader syndrome. Like if I'm on the cheerleading squad, I will automatically be liked,
Yes, I definitely think that. And I think that there's also a place for like people that maybe like the mean girl leader before she started being a mean girl. And now they don't know what to do with it. And they're not confrontational. They're not, they're not strong enough to stand up. And so they just kind of sit back and they're like, yeah, she's my friend. I didn't know she was going to go crazy on you. Yeah. And so they kind of get stuck and don't know what to do then.
Right.
So yeah, I agree. There have been some people I've kind of written off before because they were friends with the mean girl. And I was like, not going there. Mm-hmm. And then I got to know them through another venue. I was like, oh, they're cool.
Yeah. I have definitely felt that way with my kids' new school. I have definitely felt that way, that there are some women that sort of run the show as it were. And then there's a lot of women who just go with it. And then there's a lot of women who just don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And it's
Which one are you?
Take a wild guess. Well, it's so interesting because I went and did this project, like a group project, and there were a bunch of moms. And one of the moms specifically, I was like, oh, she seems very standoffish. And then I met her through completely different circumstances. She is the coolest chick ever. I think she and I were both probably coming off as standoffish, maybe because we just weren't part of the group vibe. And it just wasn't our vibe what we were doing. But like, I was like, oh my gosh, she is the coolest chick ever. We talked for way too long at I think soccer or something. It was like, and I was like, oh, you like, I misread because you just weren't buying into the bullshit of the situation of this like sort of weird power dynamic. And can I get really specific?
Sure.
Anytime, and I'd be curious to see how our listeners jive with this. Anytime I have been in a situation where there's a mean girl group thing happening, I revert.
Yes.
And I become a very like fight or flight. Like I'm having nothing to do with this. Like it feels like I am shoved back into middle school.
Yeah.
In a very like sort of primitive way. It's the only way I can describe it. It feels very outside my comfort zone. And like, I just want to get as far away from it as possible.
Same. It's just, I can't engage. I go introvert. Like my introvert goes even deeper. And I'm like, just don't talk to me.
You're like, is there a cave nearby I could crawl into?
It's like I'm crawling into my own body.
I get
that.
No,
get me out of here.
I think everybody that has experienced that mean girl group can feel that and relate to it.
And I think that's the only solution is to not engage.
Let's get there.
Okay.
You're getting ahead. You're getting way ahead in my notes.
Okay.
All right. You got to kick off with your unexpected encounters with mean girls as an adult. Because we have listeners who are younger and they're real time experiencing this, right?
Yes.
They're going to school and experiencing it. They're experiencing it post-grad with maybe some other friendships that are falling apart. Like they are really in it. And then when kind of you have the ability to grow up a little and have the hindsight, the rear view that Brandy and I have, you're like, oh, I went through all of that so that I could get to this point in my life where specifically things right now are very difficult for both of us, Brandy and I, like, and that's just, I think, being in your 40s, but we have really great support systems.
Yes.
Like there's no mean girls in our mix, right?
Right.
So I say all that to say we had to go through all of these stages to get here. So, okay, kick it off, Brandy.
So I was surprised at these unexpected places where mean girls popped up in my adult life. Your kids' schools. I'm talking preschool, and now we're in middle school, and they're still there. Your kids' sports. All these revolve around kids. The sport moms are intense.
Yeah.
The sport dads are intense. Let's not just blame the moms
different,
here.
Though. It's a different.
And I am not an intense sport person. And this is probably my most surprising one. So there are some like very liberal mom parenting groups that I've been associated with So you think they would be very open and loving and kind because of, where they're coming from.
Correct.
And they're often the most judgmental at people that do not believe and think the same things that
girl.
they do.
You want me to start on that one? As a liberal feminist, you want me to get started on what I experienced?
Katie's having flashbacks to the commission election.
Short circuiting. Talk about mean girls.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
So what are places where you?
Brandy, mine were copy paste.
Yeah.
I think also like in living in a town that we live in, which is sort of like a small town, when you take the student population away, I think these like kind of cliquey mom groups that are, around, there's a specific mom group that I have encountered. There's actually a couple that I could think of that have some kind of mean girl tendencies that aren't very inclusive. But one of them, I've never been in a situation where people will talk about going and doing something and like going somewhere in front of someone and everybody is included, but they will not include a person.
Oh,
and that's
no.
It's the weirdest. I'm like
they won't invite them, or they've already done it and they're talking about
like 2 or 3 people, and you're standing there and everybody's kind of together, and it's like, oh my gosh, we should go, and oh my God, we should go to this concert, and da 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 da. And you're just standing there and you're like so blatantly not invited.
Oh.
It's like mean girl, like on a different level. But I'm like, it's so obvious. I'm like, are they just dumb? But they're not dumb. They're really smart people. So I don't know. That's one that, but I think so. I think a lot of it does though sort of revolve around kids. And then my 2 places that I've experienced it are kids and work.
Yeah, I forgot work. Work could definitely. I've worked mostly with men, so
yeah,
hasn't been much of an issue, but I can see that.
I'm not talking about Cheeky Peach because I don't fucking roll like that at all.
But
and
in general,
this place is like everybody's friends, but with industries,
yes,
and specifically women who are kind of adjacent, maybe even in other industries. Which I wrote it down. I had the meanest mean girl story. This is so crazy. I want to go back to your list. So you talked about the kids' sports. My son was really struggling with baseball and he wasn't hitting. I felt like a leper. Like the moms would no longer talk to me.
You've got to be kidding
on one of his
me.
Teams. Like we went to this tournament and the moms literally wouldn't talk to me. It was disgusting.
Katie,
I was like, these bitches. I was so mad.
You should bring me to a game.
I was so mad. And then like their kids wouldn't talk to my son. I was so mad. I still will not speak to this woman who was like the ringleader. And oh, hey, honey. Like so nice at first. And then
so I was just saying kids sports just because they're always like those moms that are like sitting and drinking together.
Who's drinking together?
They all are.
Are they?
Oh, what do you think's in that Stanley, Katie?
Are you for real?
How do you think they're
Everybody
so happy at
drinking?
the game?
Okay. I'm drinking water.
But I
so
hadn't
boring.
even thought about being rude to your children.
Oh, girl. It was horrific. The treat, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a person. I called JJ. He was announcing a Georgia baseball game. I was sobbing. I was like enraged. I felt like I was in 8th grade again. And
that is horrible.
I said, JJ, and what they did, there was something very specific that happened with my son. And I said, you are going to call that coach and tell him we're fucking done with this bullshit. Because this is not teaching my child anything but negativity. And these people are not my people. These are not my people.
It's this travel ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's another level.
I'm sorry.
Everything's ramped up, even the mean moms.
It's so bad. And then what was the other thing you had here? Oh, the liberal mom groups. So I got horribly bullied in a liberal mom group that I was a part of. And then they kicked me out, I guess, to bully me. They talked about my family. They talked about my business. Talked shit. I mean, talked so much shit.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know is because JJ had skin cancer cut out of his face. And then we were starving. So we went to a little cafe and this woman approached me And I didn't know who she was. And she was like, I just wanted to show you this. Which,
oh my goodness.
and then she shows me all these. I was shaking.
Katie,
I was
that's
so upset.
horrible.
Yeah. So fuck them too. Who's next, Brandy?
We can only stay in the She Did What office. We're not allowed in public any longer. Wow, Katie, I'm just observing the mean girl moms, whatever we're calling
You are?
them. Yeah, I'm not engaging with them unless
Well,
they're all engaging behind my back. And
No, you're just, I think, honestly, Brandy, I don't know.
But I also have a very strong stance on, like, if I can see the group of sharks, I can tell, you know? And so I don't even go there.
But I didn't go there. Someone approached me that I didn't know at a cafe to show me this. It's not like I was seeking this out.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you were. I'm just saying I am so adverse.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, whoop. It's like a bubble around them and I can't go in.
Well, and we are going to talk about this when we talk about politics, but one of the most shocking things, you know, being someone who spent my entire life being, you know, pigeonholing myself specifically as, and I'm going to say it that way, as a liberal feminist, and then having
the liberal feminist,
my people turn on me. And like,
yeah,
you can't call yourself these things and then attack a woman for building a life.
Yeah.
Those two things can't be mutually exclusive. Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense to me. They can't live together.
Well,
these things.
And it's kind of, you know, especially like with those groups that we thought would be very loving and open. And we've found that they're very closed off if you differ in opinion. I find more and more of that the older I get in many facets of life.
Right.
And it's like all these bubbles are just burst. Like, and you can see how fake so many things are and how so many things are just a facade and literally just for show. And that just keeps popping up. And I'm not really surprised anymore. I've experienced enough of them that I'm not surprised, but I'm like, there's another one. Like, you know, when you think something's stable and secure and it is what it is, and then you realize it's not, you're just like, what's going on?
I get disappointed.
Yes. I'm disappointed in quite a few things these days. I'm like so okay with disappointment now because I just feel let down by a lot of things.
I completely agree. And it's really easy to get down in the dumps because you feel disappointed in so many things, because as you start to have these realizations, the bubbles burst and you feel disappointed. And, you know, for the specific situation I was speaking to, I felt dishonored and I felt shunned and I felt all these things and then I realized, like you said, Brandy, it's just a facade and it doesn't really mean anything. And these aren't my people.
Yeah.
And I have my people.
I don't
and
even
I'm grateful
think they're
for my
each other people. I mean,
I don't think
they
so
would
either.
Turn and attack. I think
slightest. So too. And I have a dear friend who has been a customer of mine for years and years. And she just came in one day so randomly. And she has adult children. And I was very upset. It was like the day after all. And she said, Katie, she like held me by my arms and she looked me in my eyes. And she said, I love this so much. She said, don't flatter yourself. This is how they talk to their mothers.
Yes. Yeah.
And I said, damn, that's wisdom.
Yeah. It's very, and I think that's just a thing you have to acquire on your own, is the knowledge that it has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with them.
Well, anyone who sits at home on a computer, and when you back off from it, the disappointment goes away because it's just kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
And honestly, in all of these cases, I mean, I got really worked up a moment ago about the travel ball thing, but
that was bad though.
It was so awful. And I I struggle to wrap my brain around it, but then I also have to remember to do the, to use corporate speak, the 30,000 foot view, to get in the airplane and look over the city and realize that anyone who's bullying somebody who is a contributing, successful female member of their community just is in a bad place. Like, that's not a person who's happy.
Yes.
And I have to feel bad for that person because they're just not in a good place. And then the other thing is, if someone needs to feel that powerful by treating a family and a child badly to win, to get ahead, whatever, I feel bad for them too.
They have some serious insecurities.
And life is going to really let them down because that's not what it's about.
No.
I hate to tell you. And part of me wanted to scream. Like, I competed on a national level at 17. My husband played professional baseball. You are valuing and teaching a bunch of 9-year-olds so many horrible lessons right now that they will carry.
Yes.
Because the lessons you teach these kids, they will carry. And you are teaching them all the wrong lessons.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, I know. Tell it, Katie. That baseball thing, I'm a little shocked.
I'm not. Nothing could shock me anymore. It was so horrible. And on top of that, I had all 3 kids and my son was a baby screaming at the ballpark. No one offering, any sort of support. It was horrible.
Maybe I should offer my services as like a mean girl intervention service. I show up at the baseball game. They don't know me. You're going to act like you don't know me. And I just ruffle things up a little.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, Katie, your kid's so good at baseball.
And he sucks. I'm just kidding.
Like, oh, I think we should sign him now. I heard the Braves scouts were coming.
Oh my God. No, you should act like you're like somebody big and important, and then everybody would be all like,
everyone would just be in shock.
And that's part of
I'm just here to throw a wrench in.
Brandy, and I think this is part of my problem when you said, like, why don't I am a feather ruffler and by nature, and there was a point where I said something to the head queen bee that pissed her off. And I think it just made things probably worse for us.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
I mentioned something that they brought an older kid in who had never practiced with the team to be on the team to win a game. And I mentioned, I was like, who is that kid? Has he ever practiced? Is that in line with the rules? And it's kind of a question mark. And so then I was definitely on the banned for life. And she was like, and I'm going to take it out on your kid.
That's the part. Like, A huge thanks to this episode's sponsor, Salon DM3. I love looking at a salon's social media page and seeing a vast array of styles. Crisp bobs, flowing layers, pixies, super long mermaid hair. The variety in styles shows me that this salon is in the business of true personal beauty and style, making each person their best, and also that they're open to trying new and exciting things. And this type of variety and expertise is exactly what you will see when you look up Salon DM3. Donna Means opened Salon DM3 on Baxter Street in Athens in 2011 with the vision of giving her clients the ultimate salon experience and developing more successful stylists for her community. And boy, has she done an excellent job at both of these things. At Salon DM3, you will experience the highest level of detail and attention to your hair, the finest European hair color, and a host of exclusive beauty products. Donna and her staff are constantly undergoing education to grow and learn in their trade and to serve their clients with superior skills and services. You can see their work firsthand on Instagram at DM3Athens, where there are also some client testimonials that really give you an insight into how the Salon DM3 experience leaves their clients feeling from that first visit to decades of visits. You can also learn more and book appointments online at salondm3.com. Get yourself into Salon DM3 for the hair you've always wanted.
What do we do? How do we disengage?
I just completely disengaged.
You're like, I just take a gummy and check out.
Yeah. Like, I purposefully don't sit by a lot of the other moms. I'll say hi.
I've noticed that about you. Y'all,
I don't want to be like, I'm on this team. You know what like, not our team, our sports team, but like.
I'm going to give everyone at home a visual because I've seen Brandy at the ball field. Our kids have never been on the same team. So when you are at the baseball field, you have the bleachers where a lot of the parents sit.
Who wants to sit on bleachers?
And then you have the dugout. And then you have the fence line that goes down either the left baseline or the right, or am I saying it right?
I don't know.
Be saying it right. I've sat enough baseball games. Or the right field baseline. And Brandy will be about halfway down that in a camping chair with a book.
I'm just there to make sure all angles of the field have been seen. If there's a questionable play, I'm there to offer my services.
If you're even watching.
I'm definitely not watching. And I use Millie as an excuse. I'm like, it's just too dangerous on the bleachers for her. She's going to want to run up and down.
Meanwhile, I have the smile and ignore philosophy. It's just like, smile. Something funny happened to me with one of the women at school. She was really, really nice to me. We'd had this like race and she was almost like wouldn't leave me alone a little. I was like, this is weird. You've never really been this nice to me ever. And I've known you for a long time. No, it was just a matter of convenience because then at the science night, she was with her clique, and I was like, everybody is in.
You're like,
well, no. Everyone is, yeah.
And she was like,
waving like a dork. Everyone is in their dresses with their golden goose sneakers,
goodness.
the like, the peasant, whatever dresses.
These are also at the ball field.
And these are at the ball field. And not that, you do you with the fashion. And so I'm probably in like ripped up jeans and a t-shirt. And
I'm like in sportswear.
Hey, girl. Because it was like literally days before that she had been like not leaving me alone.
Your friend.
So I went and she made eye contact and turned and ignored me. And I was like, oh.
So rude.
It was so funny. And I was just like, oh, okay. Y'all know that, like when you're in public and you wave at someone and they don't see you or something, and then you're just like, I was just trying to change that light bulb.
I'll catch you later.
So like there are those
goodness,
blatant. Oh wait, you want to hear the best one though? And I wrote it down while we were talking. One of my mean girl moments.
Okay.
So there's this woman in town, and she's an interior designer, and
maybe we shouldn't say that. I don't know. There are a lot of interior designers.
No, I'm going to say it because I don't care. And I had a manager that was working for me that was post-grad, and she was aggressively recruiting her. Well, I knew this woman pretty well. Like I considered her to be a friendly acquaintance. And I thought that was really unprofessional. That she wouldn't talk to me and say, hey, like, this person is really interested in design. I'd love to like, and I would have been, honestly, I would have co-signed. Like I want anyone who works for me, I want them to explore their passion and what they're into. The way she did it was so skeezy. And when my employee came in and she had told me, hey, this person's like really actively coming after me. And I said, oh, and she was like, but I don't want to work for them. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she came and she's like, hey, she just keeps offering me more money. She's like, I was like, well, you know what? Go take it. I was like, honestly, go take it. I was like, but I just think it's really disgusting that she didn't, like make this a conversation. Like, hey, Katie, I heard this person is really interested in design. Okay. So I said that to my employee, whatever, she goes to work for her. And then my employee, who is still best friends with a couple of my managers, tells my managers that, and I had seen her out. I was at Chuck's Fish with a group of my friends, my girlfriends, on a girls' night. It was hot summer. I was in a little white Free People tank top without a bra. But it had like ruffles on it. It had like ruffles down the front. So
you go no bra, they come out.
She went on either her Instagram story or went live. And was like, there are these 35-year-old mothers who own businesses walking around without bras on in public, and it is disgusting. Well, I didn't even know it had happened until my manager told me that she talked to...
I cannot believe these things.
Really?
Katie, you've got it bad, girl. You got to introvert with me.
Am I too extroverted? Is that the problem?
I don't know.
Or I just maybe need to put a bra on. But this bitch, I was like, she went on Instagram?
That is
I mean, she didn't show
horrible.
me. She didn't show me. I don't
That
think.
is like just true mean girl, because what does she have to even gain?
Well, how boring is your life that you're sitting at dinner at a nice restaurant and you're taking the time to go on Instagram to make fun of me, and I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah.
I had
that
the best
is
night. Actually, I
just-
remember that night because I had so much fun with my girlfriends.
And that's the way mean girls work. You're having the time of your life. They can't stand it. And so they come out. So my most memorable mean girl situation is from high school. But it's been so long ago, I can't remember all the details. But there was a girl that befriended me. And it was one of those like extremes. Like we were really, really tight for a few months, and then it just completely dropped the other way. And this was at a time where I started dating a guy that was in college, not in high school. And I was moving to a different school coming up. So I think she just turned on me because I was having changes maybe that she wasn't involved in. And she just like dropped me like a bad habit, wrote me like really nasty letters.
Oh, no.
Would, start rumors and tell people crazy things. And for what? I don't know. But anyways, as adults, she has come back and apologized to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
What'd she say?
Just, I'm sorry for how I acted in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. Tell me more.
That was
How did it come through? Did you like see her? Did she
No,
call you?
She
Did she?
Facebook messaged me.
How long ago was this?
Probably 10 years now.
I mean, good on her.
Yeah.
That was obviously weighing heavily on her, and she felt the need
Yeah.
to make
But
amends.
it also, and I was over it, obviously. But it also was just so affirming that it wasn't me.
Oh, do you feel like you still needed that?
Not really, but like if I saw her in public, I wouldn't probably say hello even. You know what I'm saying?
Of
Like
course.
I just was like, don't go there. But it's just like sometimes you're like, well, did I do something? Is it me? Do I have a bad personality? So just all of that. And as you grow up and you're an adult, you don't remember all the details. You're like, was I blowing that out of proportion? Just things like
Oh,
that
yeah.
that cross your mind. And so I got this email. I was like, huh, wasn't me.
Yeah. That was definitely her fault.
So, yeah.
It's funny that you say that. I think one of the hardest things about, we've told all of these anecdotes now. I think one of the hardest things about all of this is, in your heart of hearts that it's the other person's insecurity or whatever.
Yeah, but you still just question.
I think anybody who is not is human and introspective and is going to take a minute to go like, is there something I could have done differently?
Yeah.
Is there something I should have handled differently? Is there a way that this could have been, I could have avoided being treated like this?
Especially when it gets mean,
Right.
Then you're like, what? Because it just comes out of nowhere and you're like, why would someone else be so mean?
I think, specifically, like, let's talk about the last situation. I said, like, I didn't need to say to my employee that I thought that was really crappy what this woman did. But I also didn't ask to have a bullseye put on my back to be blasted and made fun of. You know what I mean?
Your boobies were out there.
You know what? My boobs, I'm sorry, they looked really good.
And now
Proud of
she
my
showed them all to
breasts.
Athens.
All
Probably
of
helped your
Athens.
business.
I should have just gone topless. But I think,
She hasn't been in Jamaica with you.
no.
Katie, so you thought that was bad, girl?
Well, and it's so funny because you kind of come to the other side of it. And then this was the point I was going to make. I had an employee that I really deeply cared about. And I found out that she was saying some not so nice things about me. And I didn't get where that was coming from. And when she left my business, I was really upset. And I was really like, I must have done something wrong
Mhm.
because I felt like I was doing everything right because this person was far from home. I spent all of a Sunday right after I had my son making her a birthday cake. Like I really, because so she would feel special. I really was struggling. I was struggling A, with all the time I had spent trying to foster a relationship with this person, and B, with like, then why would they say ugly things about me?
Mhm.
And I think where I landed with all of that is you have two options. You can start questioning everything, which I did for a while, and you can start becoming a different version of yourself, and you can stop putting yourself out there and stop making friends and stop and hold yourself back and restrain yourself. But that's not who I am.
Mhm.
I do have a big mouth. I do say what I think. I do live life in a big way. I do put myself out there. And maybe it's not always right. And maybe I'm not always saying the right thing. And maybe I'm not always acting right or doing the right thing or staying in line or being the good woman I'm supposed to be. But God damn it, I'm trying,
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm just living life. I'm doing my best.
Mhm.
So whether or not you want to get on this train with me,
But they don't have to be mean to you about it.
but that's where we land, right? That's
I
on
know.
them.
The mean girl.
That's on them.
So do boys have mean boys?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably. What do they call them, I wonder? Bad bros? Mean men?
Mean man.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple things.
Tell them.
We talk about, go and live big and, be a badass. And, we were talking about it, I think, with Cher in our last episode. I wish I'd been the baddest ass. But then when you get taken down for being a badass,
Yeah.
or speaking your mind or whatever, it makes you question things.
Mm-hmm.
And
For sure.
to come to the other side of that, I think is important because you just don't waste any more time caring.
Yeah.
Do you think does that ring true to you?
Yeah. I think you just have to know what you value and what you don't. And then you kind of have to ignore things that are not in your value zone.
Easier said than done.
For some people.
Brandy, you're one in a million, babe.
A new problem ignoring it. No, sometimes it bothers me.
You're funny though, because I think you do such a good job of protecting your peace. I really do.
I try.
I feel like I go and I just rain chaos, and you really protect your peace.
I'm like, not doing that.
You know what I mean?
It's that no. I can say no. I'm good at the no.
There you go.
Yeah.
You would have never gotten in that travel ball situation.
No. I am
Ever.
Don't even get me started on kids sports. No, I would not have.
Oh my gosh. I have a philosophy for the younger folks.
Give it to them.
It's just smile and ignore. And
Yeah.
like when that
Yeah.
person turns the other way at the science fair night or whatever, just
Hi. Okay, bye.
okay, bye. Oh, okay.
We're not friends anymore. Okay.
Smile and ignore. And if just remember, it's not about you.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's not they're going through stuff. They've got some issue.
Yeah.
Probably has absolutely nothing to do with you.
They've got some insecurity going that it's not, you're just the target for the day. Don't flatter yourself.
But also, don't be the mean girl.
I know. Yeah. Don't be the mean girl.
Sometimes the opportunity pops up. Don't do it.
Well, I think
Be inclusive, be friendly.
Yeah. I think
it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah. I think it pops up to, and there is a bit of that group mentality when you get in a group of women to kind of like pile on or whatever. And I think sometimes it's good to remember that you can always say like, I actually really like that person, or I have always found them to be very kind, or, I enjoy chatting with them. I think they're funny or whatever. And you don't always have to go with the group.
No. And then if there are new people, it's, you can always introduce them to people, and try to make them feel a part of it.
Yeah. I would
because
say
a lot of times with sports, you're coming into a group of moms that have already been there, and there's somebody new joining the team.
Mhm.
So you don't have to ignore them.
Yeah.
You could say hi.
Yeah, you can say hi, you can be inclusive. And I think it's a really good reminder for all of us. Just, if you're trying to talk to a friend and somebody new comes up, instead of rolling your eyes and be like, oh, we want to finish our conversation, just always invite people in. And it costs nothing to be kind, Brandy.
It really doesn't.
That's probably a home good saying on a piece of driftwood.
So I don't know if this fits or not, but we watched Wonder as a family, and then we've been listening to the audiobook in the car lately. My kids have been really into it, and it's such a beautiful story. So one of the precepts in the book that the English teacher introduces is, if you have the choice of being right or being kind, always be kind. And we've really been using that in my family lately.
I saw a movie recently where it was like, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And they're like,
It's a hard choice sometimes, especially for my daughter, because she is a rule follower, right information, does not accept false information. So sometimes we have to we're just going to be nice to them. It's okay if they don't fully understand. We really have to emphasize the kind over the right with her.
We were talking about having a game night with some friends, and I was like, ugh. Because I don't like someone who stops the game to read the rules. It's like, can we just fudge it and just keep going? Because I'm just I don't care that much. It just doesn't matter.
It's called NO, Katie. All right. So how did it go?
Did we do a game night?
Yeah.
No, because I was like, I don't think I want to do that.
She chose right over kind. Game nights are tough.
Game nights are tough. But a small group of friends playing cards. We went to Montana with a couple best friend of ours with all of our kids, and we would stay up playing cards every night, and it was fun. It was very fun.
So the game situation with me, it's almost like if it's impromptu, it's going to be fun. But if you say, come over Friday at 7, we're having game night. No fun at all. But if you
I would be
bring it up on me, I might be game.
Brandy, I would be highly suspect if I came over to your house for come over for a margarita, and then suddenly you're whipping out a board game. I'd be like, no.
Hey, I love Scrabble.
Of course you do.
And we love this game as a family called Blank Slate. It's really easy to play, and get the hang of, and little kids can play it too.
Oh,
so we do.
That.
Millie will break it out because you have little dry erase boards that you write on. So Millie is like, you want to play this game? And so then everyone in the house has to play.
And she's just drawing ponies.
Yeah, exactly. She and you're supposed to match. So she scribbles, and then she wants somebody to look at theirs and scribble the same thing so she can win.
That does not sound fun. Don't invite me over for game day with Millie.
I'm not inviting you over for it, but I'm going to spring it on you when you get there. That's another kind of mean mom.
Never going to Brandy's house.
One that you don't even see it coming.
Hey, baddies. Did you know you can now become an official She Did What Baddie supporter on Patreon? We have 3 tiers of support, and with each one, you get exclusive content. We're talking unedited videos of Brandy and I holding nothing back. You get access to short episodes such as Brandy interviewing me on my birthday, our take on the trad wife trend, and the very first time we ever tried to record an episode. And more are on the way. You get all of those episodes I just mentioned, plus a monthly catch-up episode where we talk about everything we love, loathe, are watching, reading, obsessed with, and what we're totally over. Plus, you get all the episodes, all the catch-ups, and a shout-out in the podcast credits as an executive baddie for the podcast. You'll be the first to hear news, events, and you'll be who we go to for polls and ideas. Go to the link tree on our Instagram page at Podcast She Did What to get straight to our Patreon and join today. You can also chat with us directly on Patreon. We can't wait for you baddies to see this extra content and enjoy the fun. I want to leave everybody.
We got to wrap this up.
I want to get off of game night.
I'll link to the game, everyone. It'll be in show notes.
Yippee. I want to remind everybody that people become negative and say negative things about people and things they don't understand.
Yes.
And when they're insecure, that's just what happens. So just remember to protect your peace and to continue to put yourself out there and live your life and damn the torpedoes and just, be kind, be inclusive, love on each other.
Be
Life
kind.
is hard enough.
We should get a shirt or a hat that says "Be kind."
I'm just, again, run down to Home Goods. You'll find it on a piece of
Live,
driftwood.
Laugh, love. Hey, it's good philosophy.
It's a great
I just don't want it on something in my house.
Just don't get it anywhere near my house.
All right. Nice girls only.
You're always welcome at our table, nice girls.
Unless you're me.
Unless you want to play a board game. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoyed our conversation and can't wait to share another episode with you next Thursday.
Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. To keep up with the latest, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Podcast She Did What. We'll be sharing updates, behind the scenes, and announcements you won't want to miss.
And if there's anything you'd like to share with us, whether it be a personal story or feedback on our episodes, you can leave us a voicemail at 762-499-2201 or head over to our website, shedidwhatpodcast.com. Also, feel free to leave us a review down below. We'd love to know what you think.
She Did What is hosted by us, Brandy Chandler and Katie Jacobs, and produced by Studio D Podcast Production.
Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next Thursday. And remember, it isn't always easy, but it sure as hell can be entertaining.